Hello, LINNC Online. I'm Nicole Cancelliere here with Dr. Ricardo Hanel. Very exciting day here at the second day of LINNC Americas in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Very excited to have you here. As you all know, Dr. Hanel is a dual-trained endovascular neurosurgeon working at Jacksonville, Florida. He is a pioneer in our field, having led numerous trials. Very amazing work coming from his group, and we're very excited to have him here today. So this is a very special year. It is the 10th anniversary of LINNC Americas, and we are for the first time in South America. So Dr. Hanel, how does it feel to be in your home country for the course this year?
Oh, hi, Nicole. Hi, LINNC Online viewers. For everybody that knows me, every time I'm at my mother country, Brazil, my heart feels different. It's an honor to be here. The phenomenal work, Jacques Moret, together with the team from BICET, have educated half of my country. So it's always nice to be here and honor Jacques and be part of LINNC. This time in Sao Paulo here in Brazil.
That's wonderful. Yesterday was an amazing first day here. We had over a dozen cases presented, great discussions. You gave a very inspiring talk on the evolution of intrasaccular flow disruption over the last 15 years. So for the LINNC Online viewers watching today, tell us, how have intrasaccular devices transformed aneurysm treatment, and what factors do you think drive their adoption?
I think has been a phenomenal journey to see flow diverters in one side, intrasaccular devices on the other, simplifying the treatment. I'm a big believer that this should be more attainable, the better for everybody around the world. When you see a Jacques Moret or Laurent Spell doing a two balloon assisted coiling, bifurcation, basilar, it is super nice. It is challenging sometimes, but it's hard for somebody that does 10 aneurysms a year instead of 200 aneurysms a year to be facile with those techniques and be good in doing that. And Jacques, Laurent, and others cannot be never foreign of the world doing that. So if you can simplify that treatment and have a treatment that, look, if you do this 10 times a year with a device that is easier to use, this is way easier to replicate. That's my biggest thing about intrasaccular, that it makes it this very, very predictable. And the results are super good because the device is easier to use. The procedure becomes faster. Anything that we do faster in endovascular is less complication. And people can say, oh, what about the durability? I think durability compared to other endovascular techniques, endosaccular techniques like coiling, for example, that's what this came to compete with. There's no question in my mind this is better. If you do a pure coiling or a pure endosaccular for a wide neck intracranial aneurysm, the results will be better.
Amazing. Yeah, we get to see so many, cases here, experienced people in the field showing us what they can do. But you bring up a good point. We need to, learn. And as we gain our experience, we can have more impact. So what I admire so much about you is that you're not only technically skilled, but you're very data driven. So I think that's so important in this field. So what key advancements in design and technique have improved outcomes with these devices, do you think?
So if you just think about over 15 years, for us in the West, it starts a little bit after, started in 2014 with the WEBIT trial. We start using webs that went to a 33 microcatheter. Now, most of the time we use a device that goes through a 17 microcatheter. We start with a certain shape that change a little bit, dual layer to single layer. And we were talking about Terumo, microvention. It started with sequent, microvention, out Terumo with a web. And now we have a Stryker with Contour, we have Medtronic with RTs, we have Galax with Seal, and many others that are coming around that they all look at the problem and they come with a little different angle. The key concept may be the same as one and done, or it could be a bit different, like Citadel Transa from Stryker. But they all try to simplify the procedure, get a more stable occlusion, and you see people using different shapes, different heights, different meshes, and I have no question that this will continue to improve. Big fan, as you said, of data-driven medicine. I think we've got to put data behind what we do. Cannot make claims because it's newer, it's not necessarily better. You got to show, you got to do a study with somebody else looking at your results. It doesn't count if I think I'm doing a great job. It has to be evaluated by others and peer review with independent education. I think that a big fan of that for flow diverter studies, the same thing for endosaccular.
Absolutely. And I feel like with all these new devices coming now, could it be maybe challenging to properly plan for these courses, for the appointments? I know you mentioned yesterday in your talk about Sim and Cure and planning software. How do you think that adds value, especially for new physicians who are learning how to use these new devices?
Oh, no, big fan of the work that you and Victor do in Toronto with all the dedication to the simulation lab. I think we can get really good in planning. And I think the work we do with Mantis, for example, I think we're going to get to the point that you'll be able to do a Siemens size or other type of simulations, and maybe on a more sophisticated computerized environment, go and deploy these tools on that 3D anatomy and see which one fits better. And so I don't think that we're too far from that. We'll be able to do it a much more sophisticated simulation before we go to the real subject. We did this on a 3D printed, super demanding in terms of resources and time with web when we did the trial in the US. Adam Arthur, Dave Fiorella did that by design, and we practiced before. We have no question the results on web were so good because all the physicians are super well trained on the simulation environment.
Amazing. Yeah, I think simulation brings so much value to the work that we're doing. It's a safe environment, right, that we can learn in, which is really great. So just one last question here for today. What do you think now with all this new technology coming, what challenges still remain? Like what sort of challenge are we trying to answer? And how can emerging technologies further optimize the treatments that we give?
I'm a big fan of the topic, decreasing disparities. I come from a country, Brazil, where 70% of population have access to the government insurance. All these technologies are way too hard to get to these populations. And then we're talking about Brazil, it's a middle income country, close to a high income country. It can go from here downwards if you go to Africa and others. So I think it's a big task ahead of us. How can we equate this, bringing all this beautiful technology to everybody? I think this is a work of industry, government, physicians, societies. So I think all together we have to say, how can we get this thrombectomy on the ischemic side, or endovascular treatment of brain aneurysms on another side? I think it's a big avenue for us to work in the future.
Completely agree with you. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. We hope you have a good rest of the course.
Thank you, Nicole.